Donnybrook is made possible by the support of the Betsy and Thomas Patterson Foundation and the members of 9PBS.
Thanks for joining us for another Donnybrook, and we hope you join us for another Donny Bash. Those details are coming up right around the corner. First, let's meet the panelists, starting with Wendy Wiese from the Jennifer and Wendy Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Bill McClellan from the Post-Dispatch and STLtoday.com. Ray Hartmann, founder of the Riverfront Times, and on Substack, you'll find his column. Alvin Reid, sports columnist and news editor with the St. Louis American. Before we dive in, I want to thank Lauren Young for sharing her great artwork with us today. Ms. Young is a local artist whose art is now above our mantle in our continuing Share the Artwork St. Louis program here at 9PBS. So thank you very much, Lauren, and everyone can learn more about Lauren Young at laurenyoung.com. Wendy Wiese, I want to ask you about the St. Charles City County Library. It was a front-page story in today's St. Louis Post-Dispatch that the administrators there have decided that if you're between 10 and 16 years old, you now need your parents' signature to enter the library between 3 and 5 p.m. after school, homework hours. And the reason is, according to administrators, the kids are so unruly. They've had like 35 workers come and go in the last 18 months because they can't put up with it. What do you think?
I think it's amazing, first of all, how much we have lost control of this generation. And I blame myself because I'm one of the parents. I think that every parental generation somehow, I'm not sure whether it was the pandemic or what, but there was a time when a nun who would preside over a classroom of 35 kids, you could hear a pin drop, and we've completely lost control. And I do remember the days when a library was just a place you would go to read for silence, and now apparently it's, gang central. But the 3 to 5 rule and parental permission slips, whatever works at this point, whatever works. I would be happy to sign a parental permission slip.
I think this generation's fine. I think all people talk about the next generation. To me, the worst thing that this generation's doing is hanging out at libraries. I mean, that could be a lot worse.
No, they're fighting at libraries.
Whatever. I mean, I'm not sure.
Whatever.
I don't remember the library being that pristine a place when I was, certainly not when I was in it when I was a teen. But I would say, because I wasn't caught dead in the library. But no, I would say that I don't, and I think a lot of this,
where they loan books,
when I hear about people look, every library is going to have its own rules. I'm fine. They got to do whatever they want to do, but as long as the state isn't impacting them with
okay, we'll get to that next.
Well, but I'm saying, but I don't have a problem. If they want to,
I was going to say the state isn't doing this. This is the library.
If they want to, I guess if they want to.
And it's really sad because you think that you really want to get kids in the library, and now we find out, well, the problem is the kids are going to the library. And I would think that if it's parental slips, that what's going to happen is the parents who are probably working and 3 to 5, they're happy to have the library babysit their kids. So if I'm the parent and one of my kids came home and said, hey, Dad, we want to hang out at the library after school, I go, great.
Great.
And I'd sign the slip. So I think it's just kind of pushing the problem.
Kicking the can.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We're talking about from 10 to 16. Okay. First of all, the library, for a kid to go to the library, should not need their parents' permission at any way, shape, or form. Ray, I agree with you that this is wrong, but your argument almost made me completely change my mind.
Well,
because, we can't have fighting and all that. But no, if we cannot control 10 to 16-year-olds by simply telling them, get out and don't come back because you're a problem, then we have lost control.
What are we going to do about Vladimir Putin if we
why
can't
are we ceding control to a bunch of unruly teenagers?
And by the way, your mom was an esteemed trustee for the Kirkwood Public Library. So you know from what you're talking. I will say this. Libraries have changed. It used to be, shh, no talking in the stacks. Now, you got tutors everywhere. They're all talking out loud. You have the homeless, God love them. They're talking out loud. People are drinking coffee. In some cases, people are having conversations very loudly. Librarians lost control. They lost control of the library.
Did they lose control, or did we simply take it from them?
Well, all right. Adults will handle that. But kids, we will definitely handle that. From 3 to 5? You gotta be kidding me. Like, that's such a big problem that we have to give a permission slip to come into the library. No, you don't. You gotta behave when you're in this library.
Okay, now, Ray, how about, you're talking about the state and the library. Now, the state has been taking books out of libraries or threatening to incarcerate librarians if they don't remove certain books. And librarians have kind of gone along with it, not willingly, but they've done that. But there's a new thing, a new development since we met last week on Donnybrook. The St. Charles County Council met, and they passed a resolution saying, 1, we want workers at the St. Charles County City-County Library to obey their dress code. We want hours open on Sunday. We don't want workers of the library tweeting or going on social media with their political thoughts, and we don't want them to be part of something called the Urban Library Council. I don't know what that's all about. What's your opinion?
Probably the word urban offended him. No, I mean, this is the Republican version of the Me Too movement. You know, we want to be part. We want to have a little piece of this culture war. You know, just let the library run. Really, I don't think. Maybe the county council. I'm sure they do we don't track the county council that much in St. Charles. Maybe they ought to focus on running the council and doing that kind of business. I think the library is capable of making its. Librarians are, I think, very dedicated people and very smart people, and they can figure out how to handle their libraries. And I think that there's a part of the culture war is this mythology that the libraries are carrying all this pornography and all this other stuff, which really means LGBTQ content. And I just think we ought to just leave librarians alone. And
it does seem like, though, because we have already waved the white flag when it comes to the actual classroom where the learning is taking place. We're waving the white flag. The teachers, by and large, have, and through no fault of their own, lost control. So now we're turning our attention to the libraries. They're the new frontier. Lost control of the students. I mean, many of them, and as I said, not because of any fault of their own, because you have parents who think their children never do anything wrong. They blame the teachers, unlike our generation, who immediately blamed us and took the teachers' sides. So I just think we're moving into, whether you call it culture wars, whatever, it's now the library.
I just call it, this is, be it St. Charles, be it the state, anything. This thing with the libraries, this is dangerous. This is totalitarianism, okay? And, I mean, this is dangerous. And if you remember the short story, and I guess they did a little movie, we saw it in like 4th and 5th grade called The Hangman. I'm telling you, you're out there, you're thinking like, yeah, I don't want that stuff on the ship. You're next. And we better stop this stuff now, or there's going to be one person left, and it's going to be their turn. Okay.
Well, they probably wouldn't be able to show The Hangman.
No, oh my! Wait, it frightened me. I'm going to tell you the truth. So I guarantee you they probably would be able to do it.
My theory is, you know, the books that a lot of people in Jeff City want out of libraries, I think those are precisely the books that should be in the libraries. Because it's like Sidney Poitier in To Sir With Love. To get the kids who ordinarily wouldn't read to read, he gave them the racy, raunchy stuff to read.
Yeah.
And they actually did that in France after World War II. You know, sexual books like Emmanuel and others. Little boys learn to read on that kind of stuff. At least they wouldn't be gaming right now or on their...
Wow, no.
And I don't accept.
If I walk in the classroom, my son got a Playboy magazine. Like, I'm reading the interview.
If it gets the kids to read.
I agree.
And I agree that we have some challenges in education, but I don't think that we've lost control of all the schools. I think, for example, if you look at a lot of the school districts, the public school districts in the St. Louis area, obviously there's some that are not getting the funding and whatever they need to be. There's definitely districts that we have to improve on. You're talking about St. Charles County, for example. Francis Howell is turning out very good results.
It really comes down to the parents. I mean,
it does, but I'm just saying
if the parents read at home, and if the parents care, and the parents say, you better not get in trouble at school. The kids generally behave.
But things are going fairly well at Francis Holland Parkway and Clayton. Now, I know, but I'm saying, and you're right about the parents, but it's like, I don't think we should assume that just because we have troubles, I don't think we should say we've given up.
books out of its library.
I think it's really, I hate that.
The fact that Kirkwood is genuflexing over this thing in the books, I'm like, are you kidding me?
I want him to fight.
We are supposed to be the standard bearers.
And now,
I agree with you,
St. Charles, to get a library card, you have to be. You have to get your parents' signature until you're 18.
Yeah, I mean,
it's ridiculous. And I'm saying I want our librarians to fight back. I'm not arguing about that.
All right. Now, unfortunately, fortunately, we're going to take a quick break from this conversation because every good parent will be buying a ticket to Donnie Bash next year, and here are the details.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marty Crowder, Member and Viewer Experience Manager right here at 9 PBS. You guessed it. And, you know, we are so thankful for you tuning in tonight to watch our favorite conversation show and enjoy lively banter with the Donnybrokers. That is exactly what you will get to see live if you become a member. We have some extraordinary thank you gifts. So think about becoming a member, or if you're already a member, we want to say thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We know that you love Donnybrook. So let's dive in. At the $75 level, you get either the mug, that beautiful 9 PBS mug right there. It's a campfire mug. Love that style. Or you get one ticket to see Donnybrook. It's Donnie Bash live April 11th of next year, 2024. And this is a springtime event, you guys. That's right, a springtime Donnie Bash. So nice cool breeze, and you get to hear some witty banter. It'll be great. Then at the $12 a month level, so you get $12 a month or that one time, but $12 a month, you get both the mug and 2 tickets. That's right, 2 tickets to see Donnie Bash live April 11th of 2024. It's going to be amazing. It's at the Sheldon Concert Hall. This is one of my very favorite venues here in St. Louis. It has my heart, and this is one of my very favorite events that we host all year round. I'm not kidding. It is absolutely beautiful, and we have heard such extraordinary feedback from you all that you love it, and you love being in the room with the Donnybrokers. You love meeting each other. You know, you get to rub elbows with not only, you know, the Donnybrokers, but also fellow 9 PBS members. Right there, you know, you all love Donnybrook, and you get to meet some of us, the staff, there too. So give us a call at 800-568-9099 or go to our website, 9pbs.org. But right now, we're going to hop over to the table with some familiar faces.
Thanks, Marty. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to be sitting with all of you from Donnybrook. It is. But I got to tell you, But I got to tell you something. I had such a blast at Donnie Bash.
That was the first thing you said tonight. That was so nice to hear that.
And it was, everything about that evening surprised me. The reception beforehand, and I got there at 5:45, and I thought, well, I'm kind of 15 minutes behind, and you bet that people were in line getting their drinks or refreshments. Catering was passing hors d'oeuvres. It was amazing. And people were, I've never seen a group of 9 PBS members so excited. And you guys just are great. You stayed up in the reception room and didn't go down to tape the show until the very last. You made sure everyone had left the reception before you headed down, which I thought was amazing.
Well, as long as the drinks were flowing. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, when we go down, we're gonna we meet at 5:30. We mingle for an hour. We take our seats at 6:30. The show starts at 7, ends at 8, and then we mingle, and the drinks and dessert are served at that time.
We do it again.
Yeah, and you close it out. You really do. It's wonderful.
And we've done, I don't know how many, 16 or 17 of them, I think.
Yeah.
And
I'd say 4 or 5, right?
Okay.
It's been a long.
But we've done a lot of them, and you know, they kind of done a lot of them. But I will say that this one was, I thought it was maybe the best in terms of just the connection to the audience, I should say, not us, but the audience was just great, and it was completely packed.
Yes.
And
they were very energized.
They were. I think so. There was something a little bit extra special about it this year. I mean, hopefully next year we'll we'll do better. But I mean, you know,
Oh, yeah.
we can do better on our end.
Right. Well, and such a good reason to give a gift of tickets to Donny Bash. I think it's one of the best things you can do. Whether the people that you want to give the tickets to are younger generation or older generation, or you know someone in your family loves Donnybrook, and it's just as a natural. But right now, even though it's not until April 11th, you can take care of a lot of people on your gift list for the holidays.
It's a stocking stuffer. It is. You know, I mean, you get them now and then put them in the drawer.
Yeah.
Remember what drawer? That would be my
That would be
I do that. I do that with like symphony tickets and stuff. Okay. Now, I like those highlights are from, and you can see how many people were there and us having fun. I know that because I just invested in my first new skinny suit, and I saw it. I said, like, hey, that was last year. But I also noted this for those of you who want to, you know, just, you know, treat yourself. I saw that the Sustainer was $144 with the $12 payments, and then 2 tickets is 75 apiece, so you could save $6 and get one of these marvelous mugs. So you might want to be a Sustainer and help us out all year.
Well, and you know, I've teased you all about this before, and I've said, you know, when they introduce you individually to come out from backstage and take your place on the set, you know, you should have pyrotechnics or something like the football players do. But then when I watch the introductions, I realize there is time for when you walk out from behind stage to take your place on the set. Everybody could have a walk-up song, you know, like they do in baseball.
I've actually thought about that too. I really have. I'm being honest. I had thought about that too. Maybe one year. It's in April, so maybe April Fools.
Yes,
there we go.
It's gonna be fun.
Well, I actually talked to the director, Anne Marie, about this, and she said, you know, we might do that. So,
you never know.
Be thinking about what you might like as a walk-up song. But there's a wonderful event, and this year it's going to be, well, I should say in 2024, on April 11th at the Sheldon Hall once again. Let's go back to Mardia.
I'm absolutely loving that idea of walkout music. You know, you should tell us on our social media channels. Tell us who would have what walkout sound, you know? That would be awesome. So, but also what I love, though, is the idea of you being in the room where all of the magic happens at Donny Bash. That's right, when you become a member at the $75 level, so you get the mug, or you get the option of the ticket to see Donny Bash live at the Sheldon Concert Hall on April 11th. And like I said, it's going to be a breezy night, fingers crossed for beautiful weather, and you get to hear the Donnybrookers live, all of that witty banter, that civic discourse right there, and be in the room where it all happens. At the $12 a month level, you will receive the mug and tickets. So the mug and 2 tickets to see Donny Bash live in person. It will be absolutely incredible. You do not want to miss this. Both of these levels come with access to 9PBS Passport, which is our streaming member benefit that gives you access to a wide variety of PBS programs on demand. That's right, on demand. You can watch it on your computer, smartphone, tablet. It's absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite member benefits. And you get that 9PBS magazine, which we know so many of you adore. So please join us, become a member right now. Give us a call at 800-568-9099 or go to the website 9pbs.org. That's NINE. pbs.org. And, you know, you can become a sustaining member with that $12 a month or do a one-time donation. You know, either one, it means the world to us. And you keep us going with your extraordinarily generous gifts. So thank you so much, and let's dive into an exciting conversation.
Thank you very much. We'll see you at Donny Bash next year. Alvin, Reid, it said that Missouri is pushing the envelope more aggressively than any other state when it comes to name, image, likeness, money for amateur athletes. Legislation signed by the governor now allows a student who is in the September of his or her senior year to collect hundreds of thousands of dollars and from, I guess, schools within Missouri, and none of this is transparent. Nobody knows what the deal is. But apparently this is the most aggressive NIL deal in the nation. What do you think about that?
Well, once again, I think our governor is waiting, or at least our state, let me put it this way. Right now, until this thing gets under control by Congress or college athletics needs like a czar or something like that. Right now, get what you can, kids, because everybody else is, and they're doing it, you know, based on your performance on the field, court, rink, whatever. Get what you can. But what they're missing, because I really don't think they understand, is how a family's mind might work, or a kid's mind might work as far as that is concerned. Okay, I'm in high school, all right? I haven't technically signed to go to school. All I have done is declare that I'm going to go to this school. You know, this 5-star defensive tackle who announced that he was going to Missouri, he could change his mind tomorrow. And he does not have to give that check back, because that check did not come from the University of Missouri. It came from a booster, or it came from somebody who's trying to help the program out. That doesn't lock you into that university. It doesn't lock you into that university for the full 4 years. I think you're going down a path where some people are going to cash in and say, like, you know what, my biggest check was at Missouri, and I'm going to get that check, and I'm going to stay there a hot minute, and then I'm going to go someplace else where I really want to go. So it has to be taken under control, but right now, as far as the kids are concerned, and you know, men, women, playing any sport, get as much as you can while you can.
Well, I got a big kick out of the governor when he signed this bill, and we're being aggressive on it, saying that, you know, he does not like being in the middle of the path. and I thought, well, good, because we are. Everything else, we're at the end.
We're in the middle.
Tail end.
But in the NIL, we're at the top, and really, that's fine, I think. I mean, we've joined the SEC. We want to compete, and so we're going to throw money at the kids. And
dark money.
Yeah, and
very
so
dark.
These kids will be making more money than the professors, and of course, the coach makes more money than anybody in the state. You know, this is the new normal of college athletics.
It's a very I agree, and it's a terrible normal, in my opinion. I mean, let's put it this way. First of all, the big problem with this is the lack of transparency. That's a non-starter. It's a state university, the one I went to. There's no excuse for these arrangements not to be transparent. But having said that, I'm a capitalist pig, and as far as I'm concerned, if it's going to be free enterprise capitalism for the coaches, unlimited amounts of wealth, and the athletic directors and the boosters, their influence peddling, let's just don't talk about education and this giant money pit in the same breath. And it's like, why shouldn't the players get theirs? I mean, in other words, if it's going to be capitalism for the coaches, and I'm not a problem with it, then it ought to be capitalism for the players. And how they want to adjust it, the details, Alvin knows this stuff better than I do. I don't know how it ought to be managed, but the principle, and if anybody doesn't understand this, maybe they ought to go to their own economics teachers.
Well, go ahead, Wendy.
No, I just mean we have seen so many kids just being crushed by this machine, and the more of this money that can't be traced anywhere, it's awful. I mean, it's really scary.
Okay,
real quick. And another danger is, okay, we have all these Power 5 schools, and they got all the money, they got all the boosters. What? All of a sudden, Cal Poly Pomona suddenly has the best football team in the country, okay? Because somebody out there in Silicon Valley said, like, I want the best football team in the country. So all of a sudden, they're great. Now everybody's got a problem with it. I guarantee you.
Right. Bill McClellan, what do you think about the Missouri Supreme Court, which ruled this week that, yes, parents can be jailed if their kids don't end up in classrooms enough? If kids miss too many school days, as apparently has happened in Lebanon, Missouri. 2 parents, one got probation, the other got jail time because the kids weren't in school.
Well, I think this is a good thing. And, you know, and we're not talking, Ray, we're not talking about we're going to be throwing all these moms in jail every chance we get. It's a huge problem if a child doesn't go to school when he or she is little. That child doesn't learn to read, and it's game over. If we have a 12 or 13-year-old kid running on the streets and not going to school, that's a kid is in the pipeline for prison. And I know teachers who've cried about kids who had great potential, but they're just not in school. And if the only thing we can do is tell the parents, and, you know, hey, this is on you to get little Alvin in school. And if you don't, we're going to come down on you. I think that it's something that we have to do.
I couldn't disagree with you more.
I know you couldn't.
I think you should keep little Alvin out of it. I don't know what he did. he was very well educated, and I don't think I got a feeling he didn't miss a day in school. In his particular household, I got a feeling you didn't miss one day. But
Little Ray.
you could have, and that would you'd have been a lot closer. Let me put it that way. No, I couldn't disagree anymore. I mean, look. And I'm not arguing for kids, for truancy, but we have too many people in jail, and the idea that we are going to criminalize.
Sure?
Yes, we have too many people in jail. We have too much of this. I think it's an outgrowth of our hate thy neighbor culture that we have with half the country hating each other. We don't need to look at this is not something to criminalize, even if it's bad parenting, which it might not be in every case.
How do we get the kids to school, Ray?
Putting their parents in jail is not going to get them to school.
I don't think you're going to have a whole slew of
parents
sent to jail because little Ray missed school.
Yeah, right.
But
when
we go to the parents and say, little Ray's not showing up, we don't have enough truant officers, this is on you.
No, I just don't think, this is a function of the criminal justice system. I'm sorry. I do think we need, I'm not arguing about truancy.
The attorney's argument that the rules were written in a vague way and that neither mother neither mother could find it in the handbook, the parent-teacher handbook for the kids. Did you really read the handbook if your kids didn't go to school for 2 or 3 weeks? I don't know.
Good point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not consistent to me. That's,
yeah.
All right, Alvin, I want to ask you about the annual tests. 7 school districts in the greater St. Louis area, including, I think, Melville,
Hancock Place.
Afton, Parkway,
Pattonville,
have decided not to go with the Missouri Assessment Program test. That's the MAP test that's usually conducted for all the schools and school districts at the end of the year. And then we get the reading and math scores later on and find out that the scores have been going down. In fact, apparently statewide, the scores are down even lower than 2019, pre-pandemic, in reading and in math. But the point is, a number of schools have decided, no, instead of having a standardized test at the end of the year, we're going to have benchmark tests in the fall and winter so that we can intervene quicker with the kids who are having academic difficulties.
Okay, if they follow through on that and are very serious about it, I'd have to see the results of that over a year or maybe 2 years. In the meantime, by saying we're just not going to do the MAP test because all the kids do poorly on the MAP test, basically, once again, you're waving the white flag, and you're also, I think you're dooming kids that are in underperforming districts. You're just telling them, like, there is no standard. And if you don't set a high standard, then it's going to go even lower than we are now. There's got to be a goal that you are trying to get to, and it should be, that goal should be high enough that it's hard, that it's difficult to get there. But that doesn't mean that you don't try. It just frightens me that we're not trying anymore.
See, I respectfully disagree because I think that if they do have a chance as students to turn things around, to have whatever issues they have addressed by a teacher instead of waiting until the end of the year when it's too late, that might make them, even more incentivized to learn or to do better. I don't see that you would have to write off their performance.
Why can't you do both? Have the MAP test at the end of the year so we can compare your school to all the other schools in the state, and have the kids have a test in September, October, November, and if they're not performing proficiently, zero in on that kid.
Well, I think the problem with that, unfortunately, is I think the school will do those tests and say, like, hey, you're making progress. You're doing great. And then take that MAP test, and that MAP test is going to be like, wait, behold it. What happened to all this progress? Then you're stuck. Now, all of a sudden, like, well, how are you assessing the kids? Are you lying? All that. And I don't think districts want to necessarily be put in that situation.
Well, I remember the days when it was just report cards. I mean, I don't think
that your parent had to sign.
Well, I mean, but you get a report card. 3 or 4 times a semester, and you would be advancing or staying the same or slipping.
Or talking too much in class.
Yeah, well, that was conduct.
But now we can just put those parents in jail if they do that.
All
But
right. We have to break now, but we'll come back with you when we return.
Okay.
Because we want to invite you to Donny Bash 2024. Here are the details.
Hi, everyone. I am so thrilled that you are joining us tonight as we enjoy another exciting and lively conversation with the Donnybrokers. And I know that you love it because I was flipping through some of that feedback from the Donny Bash that we had and enjoying so many of your comments. I know one of you said that it felt like a family reunion, you know, and that's kind of what we're going for. We want to bring all of you together, the community really, together to enjoy the diversity of thought that the Donnybrokers and all of you have. And so we can only continue to do that because of, guess what? Viewers like you. So when you become a member, or if maybe you're already a member, I want to tell you some extraordinary thank you gifts that we will send you. At the $75 level, so one time, $75, you either get the option of the mug, which I absolutely adore this mug. Maybe you're like me and you have one too many mugs, but guess what? You never can have too many mugs. So that beautiful 9 PBS mug, or you get the option of a ticket to see Donny Bash live at the Sheldon Concert Hall on April 11th of 2024. It's going to be a great evening of lovely fun. And then at the $12 a month level, you get the combo of not only the mug, not only the tickets, both together. That's right. You can drink your favorite coffee or your tea like me, and also enjoy those 2 tickets. So invite your spouse, invite your friends or family, whoever. Invite them to Donny Bash because this is an extraordinary event of the season. So give us a call at 800-568-9099 or go to our website, 9pbs.org. That's NINE PBS.org, and become a member right now. Don't delay. Don't hold off. You want to experience all of that magic. And right now, we're going to go over to the magic at the table.
Thanks, Marty. How great to be sitting with you guys for the show. I just love it. And I talked the last time a lot about being at Donny Bash and how much I loved it. I was going to ask each of you to say what are your favorite parts of Donny Bash when you're there. Alvin, you want to start us out?
Oh, well, I mean, one, it's the interaction that you have when you're doing the show. Obviously, once a year, and place was packed. There's the energy that you get from that. But it's like, it's live TV, and so that's just kind of cool. I do feel like we are unique, and this show is unique. And I want anybody else on any kind of like panel show to say that we did something like this too. So that's really, that stands out to me, that we really are live television. That's very rare these days.
Very cool.
Well, mine is very selfish. You know, I have my grandkids, 2 of my grandkids show up.
The ringers.
And
the human shield.
Evie walks me out, you know, when I walk out there. And Evie gets the last question when they come around. Like, they'll say, what's the best ice cream in town? Crown Candy, Evie, and we're going. So, I mean, it's just so much fun to be there with my grandkids.
I hear you. That's wonderful.
Well,
Charlie?
it is very unusual, but it's a pleasure also to meet audience members. I mean, not too many people in broadcast television can do that on a live broadcast, as Alvin was pointing out. And it's kind of like Thanksgiving, where your family gets together once a year. And viewers, in many ways, are our family. Some of these people have gone to this, you know, for 15 straight years.
That's right.
And so we only see them during Donny Bash. And there are some laughs, some hugs. I mean, it's a feel-good evening that I think all the viewers will really enjoy.
That's terrific. Wendy?
It is. It's a reminder that in these incredibly divisive times, that we are all a community. We all have our hearts in the right place. Everybody wants what's best for everybody else's grandchildren. And just as Charlie said, that recognition, that connection with an audience member, you know, when they come up and they are looking at you and you know that they watch every single Thursday and they are invested in 9 PBS, that's a really neat feeling. And of course, being with these yahoos. Just, in a live situation is always fun because you never know what's going to happen.
My favorite thing is when one of them messes up.
And it's live, right,
Send him to
exactly.
jail.
Or somebody like me says, don't watch TV or whatever it was I said that one year. No, I think it's just, it's pretty much what everybody's saying here, but it's what a St. Louis setting it is. I mean, it's so easy to take for granted something, a gem, a treasure like the Sheldon. This amazing acoustics, and looking out there, and it's packed, and we could hear the audience very well, and vice versa, and it's just, it never ceases to, first it never ceases to get old, but it's also like, it's such a St. Louis thing. I mean, it's just like the connection we have, which is, you know, flattering and wonderful, but it's just like that setting is like, I like to think it's pretty unique.
It is, and isn't it interesting that no other city has been able to recreate Donnybrook the way you all have done it over the years, and it's been many years now. And I think that says a lot about St. Louis and the type of evening that you all get going, because you all are the ones who really start that spirit for the evening, and people are just, it was so much fun to watch people in the audience watch you guys and participate.
And this, last year, it seemed like this year because it was just then, but I mean, last June, yes, we saw many familiar faces, but it seemed to me that we had a lot more first-timers than we ever had.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And it is a new kind of excitement, especially when they come back out for the second reception after the show, and they just look like, oh my God, that was really something.
Because it is so unique, so don't let this opportunity pass you by, but we want to go back to Earn Mardia right now. Yeah.
I love what Wendy just said about community. You know, we all want what's best for the community, you know, and that's what you will know when you get in that room. It doesn't matter about the differences of opinions. You know, you hear different opinions at the Donnybrook table, right? But at the end of the day, we want what's best. And 9PBS wants to reflect the community, to magnify and deepen the understanding of our community so that we can help the region flourish. And so you help us to continue to do that every day with your generous contributions. So we want to say thank you so much with some great gifts. At the $75 level, you get the option of the awesome 9PBS mug. I'm telling you, it's absolutely a gem. And then you also get the option of the ticket. So one ticket to see Donnie Bash live at the Sheldon Concert Hall, April 11th of 2024. So at the $12 a month level, that's a sustaining level, you get the option, or not an option, sorry, that's a combo. There's no option, you get both, the mug and 2 tickets. That's right, you can invite your favorite person and enjoy your favorite cup of coffee out of your favorite mug. That's a $12 a month level. So give us a call at 800-568-9099. Join us, become a member right now, or go to our website, 9pbs.org. That's NINEPBS.org. Don't miss out on your chance to become a member and see Donnie Bash live in person. You absolutely don't want to miss it. And you know what? Also, you don't want to miss the rest of Donnybrook. So let's go back.
All right. Thank you very much, Alvin Reid, for all your contributions this year and tonight. And I want to ask you about the city workhouse. Apparently, the city, which has closed it, the medium security workhouse in North St. Louis, is looking for ideas what to do with that property. Somebody recommended a racetrack. Do you have any ideas? Since it's now shuttered and all the inmates have gone to the City Justice Center in downtown St. Louis.
With that lead-in, I thought I was like on Hard Knocks on the NFL. And I'm about to get told, hey, you gave it a good shot, buddy, but you're right. Okay. You know, Mayor Bosley back in the day, where I guess it was, you know, where that our new stadium was going to be built, had an idea for a 9-hole golf course. And trust me, if they had built it then, that thing would be going great guns. Now, it was a good idea. If you have some open space, do something that people want to do. Now, the racetrack, you know, I don't know if it fits that footprint. Why not? I think if you do things that bring people downtown that aren't like, you know, hip hop and all that, you know, just like
parties.
Yes, exactly. Then I think those are good things. So I can't rule it out. Let's start somewhere.
Okay, now the workhouse isn't downtown, though.
No, I'm sorry. I meant that just the idea of using the space
space
for like a recreational kind of thing.
Well, we could open the workhouse again and put all the parents in.
Yeah, there you go. Apparently.
Hey, recently, the Reverend Darrell Gray said that he saw 11 inmates, or residents, as Jeff Smith would call them, to a cell. This was at the CJC, the city's Justice Center in downtown St. Louis. It's overcrowded downtown. They should move these inmates to the workhouse.
Or racetrack.
Well,
/ racetrack.
Or golf course.
Golf course.
Why not open it as it was intended to be so that those residents could actually get sunshine? There's no chance of getting sun when you're either at the county or the city jail.
You know, I don't disagree with that, Charlie. I'm just kind of thinking like, but if for some reason it was not there anymore, I think a good way to pursue filling that space would be something recreational. As opposed to some new building that nobody's in, or
It's an industrial area. Really.
And I agree with that. And I know they've sort of winnowed down the number of possibilities, and they're on a website. But pull the trigger. I mean, just pull the trigger. If you run for office, then do what the office requires. I don't think we need public sentiment or input on every single solitary thing. I think that's one of the reasons why progress seems to be sort of glacial right now.
I completely agree with Wendy. I mean, I think that we have so much, you know, I mean, you of course want public input, but by definition, you got public input when they voted for you.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's like, and I think the idea, whatever, any idea is fine. I mean, whether it's a golf course or whatever, I still think, and I know I have no basis for it, but I just think we ought to try to figure out a way to regionalize the criminal, at least the corrections part of the criminal justice system, because we have problems in the city and the county, and at least a city-county solution that might give more fluidity to handling overcrowding in one and not in the other. I'd like to see that.
Well, they do that with federal
Right, and prisoners. I'd like to see, I just think it'd be an interesting way to have a regional solution. But having said that, it's just a thought.
Well, you know, the city's doing the same thing when it comes to the Kroenke money. They're going to be public hearings until December 2nd on what to do with the $250 million.
That's fine. I mean, I don't mind the public hearings.
We've talked about that before. I just think that they ought to take that money and just say, we're going to fix the 911 system.
Trash.
But somebody, I'm sure people will go to those meetings and say, like, we got to do 911 first. And there will be, you know, all kind of different opinions. But, you know, you hear the people out. Even in your mind, you're saying, like, we're going to take this money and fix 911. But we still can all go down there and say, like, hey, I would like this or I would like that.
And from what I could tell, we all agree that there's the ironic fact that 911 isn't being treated like an emergency. But I think that it's not as simple as just spending money. I think it's a pretty complex problem. I don't, and I'm with you. I mean, if they can spend it, but it's not just a money problem. There's a lot of moving pieces, parts to that.
Bill McClellan, what do you think of Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, who, as Secretary of State in Missouri, actually oversees securities, the brokerage industry? And so he's decided that if a broker wants to put a client in some progressive company based on ESG, what's environment, social, corporate governance, that's where the company has done progressive things in this area, that the broker has to get the signature of the client first. And I think that's a good idea, because I think the broker's obligation is actually to maximize the returns for the client and not to put them into something that's socially acceptable.
I think now we have to get kids signed in letters so they can go to the library. And now the Republicans are going to tell the bankers and the investment guys that they have to get something signed. When you go to an investment person, you don't want the government looking over his shoulder, I don't think. You say, okay, do something with my money, and you expect him or her to tell you what they're doing. And if they can get you a decent return, you're happy with them. If they don't get you a decent return, you take your business to somebody else without the government looking over the shoulder and saying, well, wait a minute, this is a environmentally conscious company you're investing in?
Look, look,
crazy.
Do not give this man credit for an ounce of good faith or an ounce of originality. This is part of the national talking points on ESG. It's woke, taking on woke capitalism. This is just a carbon copy. I guess that's a dated reference. Let me tell you something. Maybe we ought to put his parents in jail for an idea this stupid. But I mean, John
Wait, his dad anyway.
John Ashcroft.
Leave his mom alone.
Yeah, no, leave his mom out of it. Put John Ashcroft in jail. No, I mean, this is ridiculous. I can remember when Republicans actually were the party of business and respecting the free enterprise system.
But
and
don't
we're attacking.
You know if your mutual fund is supporting some conservative something or other?
That's
I mean, wouldn't you want to know that?
Well, I don't want the state government involved.
I don't want the state government involved, and it's up to me, I guess, to examine. Plus, if I said like, hey, you know what? I want a 7% profit.
No.
Or bring it back.
Wendy's right, because don't forget, the 401ks were not acting as fiduciaries for the employees, and they sometimes were making decisions that were not in the employees' best interest. And St. Louis Attorney Jerry Schlichter said, hey, that's wrong. And there was a federal law saying that 401ks must work in the best interests of the employees. And I think brokers also should have a fiduciary responsibility.
But they have a responsibility.
You have a little bit of responsibility, Charlie,
Yeah.
where you're going to put your money and who you're going to trust.
Right.
And you don't want Jay Ashcroft looking over his shoulder. I don't.
And I guarantee you this. If this had been a law in the state of Missouri 30 years ago, you would have some very conservative people less millions and millions of dollars because they would not have invested in Apple and they would not have invested in Microsoft.
They would.
No, they wouldn't.
No, they were it's their attack on woke
Because you'd be getting the best return. Wendy, I want to ask you about St. Louis Business Journal report showing that a lot of the athletes, the Blues and the Cardinals, who retired within the last 5 to 10 years, are no longer living in St. Louis, unlike their older counterparts like Bernie Federko, Jackie Smith, Ozzie Smith, Chris Pronger. Why don't athletes love us?
It was well, I mean, I don't know that that means that they don't love us. It just means that they have more options. They're making more money. That they don't have to stay here. Bruce Affleck was part of Jacob Kern's story, and he was talking about the impact that it's having on the various alumni associations within all of our major sports franchises. And that is, you know, that's disappointing. But I think it's just sort of a sign of the times. I don't know that it's anything that seems to be unique to St. Louis or our standing in the world of sports. It seems like it's happening everywhere.
It's the money.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously. I mean, God bless Jackie Smith and Ozzie Smith and all
Dan
that.
Deerdorf.
But when you look at the amount of money, you know, they made, St. Louis is a beautiful place to live. It's a beautiful place to raise kids.
Family.
Real estate is lower. The commute, even if you do live like west or north or whatever, is not that bad. I understand it. But they didn't make $30 million a year and 15 and 20. And if they did, if I did, I would not live here. I love St. Louis. I'm from here. But if I wasn't from here and I was making this much money, the idea of living in St. Louis would just be like, no, I'll be there a lot, but I'm not going to live here.
How many millionaires do you think athletes stay in Buffalo?
Right.
I mean, you know, they might.
Or
play
Green
Bay.
Bay.
I will say,
Green Bay.
when I grew up, there was a guy who lived around the corner from me named Mike Garcia. He was a pitcher for the Indians.
Yes.
And he ran a dry cleaners.
Yeah, and like Alvin was saying,
He didn't have a job.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I guess that explains. I thought it was a fun read. Actually,
It was a fun
by
read.
Jacob Reid.
And speaking of fun reads, let's go to the letters and see what folks had to say about last week's show. I agree with your panel that the city's failing 911 system is a critical emergency that needs to be fixed yesterday. Who doesn't? Apparently, the city's Board of Aldermen who are taking a 2-month recess instead of addressing this. That from Jay Unnerstall of St. Louis. Tom Kickham of Lindenwood Park wrote, Ray Hartmann gave us his kids will be kids perspective on young people not leaving downtown until 2 in the morning when the party ends at 11. I bet Mr. Hartmann would have made sure his teens came home at a respectable time. You can write us care of 9PBS, 3655 Olive Street, 63108. We love those emails. Donnybrook at 9pbs.org. And those tweets. Use hashtag DonnybrookSTL. Call the 9 line, 314-512-9094, and listen to us on your favorite podcast source. Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, and Google Play. Thanks so much for joining us. We have more topics next week, but we also have an invitation for you to join us for Donnie Bash. That's just around the corner. See you soon.
Donnybrook is made possible by the support of the Betsy and Thomas Patterson Foundation and the members of 9PBS.
Thank you so much for joining us for another exciting conversation with the Donnybrookers. You know, it never gets old, right? Every Thursday night, there's always something new to examine, a new story to deep dive into, you know, the breaking news of our community. And that's what we want to do, right? We want to tell the stories of the community, and we're licensed to the community, so that means you, right? We're here to tell your stories and to reflect who you are. So hopefully when you're watching 9PBS, you see a bit of yourself in the stories that you see. So we can only continue to do this. I can't say it enough we can only continue to do this with you. It doesn't exist without you, you know, our great community work. So we want to say thank you so much by giving you these thank you gifts. So at the $75 level, we offer the option of the mug or the one ticket to Donnie Bash. Both extraordinary. You know, I don't know how you can pick, right? It's amazing. So you get either the mug or the ticket at the $75 level. At the ticket, you get Donnie Bash. It's live at Sheldon Concert Hall. It's a beautiful venue. But at the $12 a month, you don't get you don't get one ticket, you get 2 tickets. That's 2 tickets and the incredible 9PBS mug. Absolutely amazing. You don't want to miss the incredible opportunity to see the Donnybrookers live in action with an awesome conversation. So give us a call at 800-568-9099 or go to our website, 9pbs.org. That's NINEPBS.org. Become a member right now. Right now, we are going to go over to the table with Marianne and the Donnybrookers once again.
Thank you, and Marty. Oh, wow. Having fun once again with the folks from Donnybrook. You know, we've been talking about Donnie Bash, and I know you say this to the people who have come often, you know, don't be shy, come on back again. You know, you
And they
love to
do.
see they do,
yeah.
over and over again, and which I think is wonderful. And you always say, if you've never been to Donnie Bash, you don't know what you're missing. And what do you mean by that, Charlie?
Well,
what do you think?
first of all, I would say don't sit in the first 2 rows because Wendy claims that between Ray and me, shall we say, we expectorate.
Sometimes I have to just do this.
Yeah. So if
I've never noticed, and now I'm going to start watching.
Yeah.
well, the
It's
third
just
row
a
is probably
lively
safe.
discussion. Yeah.
Well, when you before the show, and we actually, there's time we come back downstairs, we get mic'd up, and people are inside, so you get to hear us talk about one another. Now we talk to the audience too, but we talk to each other, and so you kind of catch what you didn't catch about 5 minutes ago.
You're better off.
It was just funny. So if I look crazy right now, it's worth coming
It is
to
worth
Donnie
to
Bash
see that,
just for the interaction between us before the show starts.
Behind the scenes. But yeah, it is just sort of that familial in a world. I mean, I hate to say that, but sometimes we all wake up in the morning and we're like, what planet are we on? You know, we all have that universal shared experience. And when you're at Donnie Bash, it's just the commonality and what everybody has, that we share, and that's just so refreshing. That is just so refreshing.
And it's our big fundraiser for the year for 9PBS.
For sure.
We've left that out so far.
That's
But
what
yeah,
this
it is.
all
Trust
about.
us, it's important.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
There is some controversy tonight because only one of us, you know, you get the mug, you know, you get the ticket. However, there's 2 kinds of mugs. Only one of us has the mug. Show them. We have mugs with this side is blank. Wendy gets the mug.
Yes.
The logo is on both sides.
That's the
I don't know if you
girl
can
mug,
ask for
I
that.
guess.
I don't know if you can ask for that. But in any case,
Yeah, I have-
the mugs
I
are
have-
great, by the way. I have, and they're great for coffee, and they're but also the membership is probably better than the mug. I realize. No, but I'm saying that. Just talk about the mug. We have to talk about something. The microphone.
That's right.
Mug's nice. The sustainer, like I say, is nice. And, you know, and Ray has often pointed this out, so I'm going to steal your line. It's not just us, it's all PBS.
Exactly.
There are a lot
That's
of
right.
things that are kind of
That's
under
right.
the gun right now. And, you know, public broadcast system is one of them. Need your support. Really do.
absolutely.
It's very important.
And it's a great feeling to know that you are involved to the level where you feel like you have a stake. You have an ownership stake in PBS and the programming that people enjoy. That's a lovely, lovely thing.
That is, and we also talk about giving tickets as a gift to somebody, because as long as my parents were alive, for Nick and my anniversary every year, they would give us a membership to 9 PBS. And yeah, because my mom said, you really don't need anything. She said,
Right.
so this is a nice way of giving you something that means a lot to us and to you. Yeah, and I thought, hey, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
This
Your
is
mom was
really
wise.
among
Yeah,
the
sure.
very top PBS stations in the country, which we
Isn't
could
that
take
the
pride in.
truth? Yeah, because per capita, we have the most viewers than any other PBS station in the country. Good to know.
Well, we sure have a ball interacting with them.
That's good. Isn't it great? Let's go back to Earn Mardia right now.
See, you don't want to miss out on that incredible conversation, right? What you just saw is just an example of times 10 what Donny Bash is like. It's absolutely incredible. You know, you don't want to miss out on Alvin's cool shoes or Wendy's scarves, you know. It's going to be an amazing, amazing time. It's one of my very favorite times. I loved meeting a lot of you last event. So we want to say thank you so much for becoming a member right now. Give us a call at 800-568-9099. And when you do, we will offer you these great Donny Bash thank you gifts. So at the $75 level, so that's one time $75, you have the option of that mug, which Wendy showcased. It's beautiful. Or you get the ticket to see Donny Bash live in action on April 11th of 2024 at the Sheldon Concert Hall, one of my very favorite places in all of St. Louis. Then at the $12 a month level, you receive not only the mug or the tickets, you get both, 2 tickets and the mug. So that's $12 a month sustaining level. Here at 9 PBS, we want to say thank you so much for becoming a member. Give us a call, 800-568-9099, or go to the website, 9pbs.org. That's NINEPBS.org. And join us, you know, like that viewer said, family reunion. Join us at Donny Bash. And thank you so much for watching.